Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Doctor Who 5-inch scale Reconnaissance Dalek with Dalek mutant accessory. Now before I begin this review, I first of all want to say a massive thank you to both Character and Evolution PR for sending me this incredibly early sample over for a review. For those of you interested in pre-ordering this figure, he is available to pre-order right now over at forbiddenplanet.com. I do believe Character will also be hosting their own pre-order option. However, as of this recording, it hasn't gone live. But definitely stay up to date with the links in my description box, as that is where I'll be including both the listing for the Forbidden Planet pre-order as well as the Character pre-order. The Reconnaissance Dalek was a figure that I have wanted so dearly ever since he made his debut in the Doctor Who New Year's Day special, Resolution. This is a completely brand new take on a very iconic villain for Doctor Who. This is a scrapyard Dalek that's rebuilt himself out of spare parts. A really awesome refresh take, and I cannot wait to check this figure out. Now I must refrain myself from showcasing you the back of the packaging, as there is a particular figure on the back which is still embargoed, so I do apologise that I won't be able to show you the back of the packaging. However, as soon as I get an update, I will be sure to post images of the back card online. This figure looks really awesome in his box. We've got a super cool clear display of the Dalek figure himself, as well as the included super nice added touch Dalek mutant. We've got the Reconnaissance Dalek, and the action figure is a 5.5-inch scale with Dalek mutant accessory. We can see we've got the Doctor Who logo as well as some fantastic Gallifreyan text. We can also pick out an image of the TARDIS behind the Dalek figure, and then on the side of the packaging we've also got an image of the TARDIS doors, which I think is a really nice touch. Now this figure is in a slightly larger clamshell than that of the other figures within this assortment, just due to how thick the Dalek skirt is. So without further ado, let's crack this awesome Dalek figure open and take a more closer look at the figure himself. And here we have the brand new Recon Dalek opened up and out of his packaging, and oh my, this figure is absolutely incredible. This is by far one of the best 5-inch Doctor Who figures that we have got in a very long time. The wait for this figure was definitely worth it, as this has got to be, in my humble opinion, one of the best Dalek figures ever to be produced by Character Options. Not only is this an entirely new sculpt, but this figure also has a point of articulation which no other 5-inch scale new series Dalek or even classic series Dalek, besides the special weapons version, has had since the show's revival. Now I will keep your anticipation growing, as before I take a detailed look at the Dalek, I'm actually going to be taking a closer look at the figure's Dalek mutant accessory. Now, taking a closer look at the Dalek mutant accessory itself, I'm so shocked and surprised at the level of detail and paint apps that have really gone into this. We can see subtle highlights of blue, purple and green, all to give it that very, almost that type of reflective texture that we did see the mutant have, specifically when it was in the sewers on the wall. I really love the paint deco on this. It is a very rubbery piece, and in hand it does feel just as disgusting as you would expect it to be for a Dalek mutant. I love the detailing on all of the tentacles, as well as on this main brain, which does in fact have a super nice red paint application applied over the top just to differentiate some of the details from the sculpt. A really nice added inclusion. It can't necessarily be grasped over any of the figure's backs unless you were to perhaps wedge it into the figure's shoulders, but it definitely is a really awesome looking piece, and is something that they didn't have to include, but I'm so thankful to Character that they did in fact go the extra mile to include this really awesome, very disgusting looking piece. Now, to actually integrate this Dalek mutant within the figure himself, Character have gone even further than just including this accessory, but they've actually moulded in a removable compartment that you can pull down to actually plug the Dalek mutant within. You can have it sitting within there, which I just think is absolutely incredible, and for kids opens up for so many different play options. You can see the Dalek mutant embedded within the chest, and if this was a figure that would have came out perhaps 10 years ago when I was slightly younger, I'm sure I would have gone absolutely nuts, even more nuts than I'm going now. This is a really nice inclusion, and I'm so grateful to Character for including this display option, as it just gives this figure something more and something more different from your other Dalek releases. We can of course close the hatch up. Getting all of the tentacles in there so that you don't pinch them within closing this can be slightly finicky, but you can see that it does store really nicely within the actual Dalek chamber. And for now, that is where I'm going to be keeping this mutant accessory, as the Dalek needs something in order to pilot itself. Now, taking an actual look at the Reconnaissance Dalek himself, I'm sure you'll agree with me on that this is a fantastic representation of the Dalek design that we saw in the Resolution episode. This really does capture that junkyard scrap metal Dalek that had just reformed himself from scrap metal parts into this very obscure, but I personally really enjoyed its type of Dalek design. It's got all of the iconic Dalek attributes such as the gun, the plunger, the eye stalk, and the domed ears, as well as this more circular design, the circular hemispheres on the skirt. However, it just updates it, making it a very refreshed look on the Dalek. Something which pops straight out of the packaging, and even when you're actually looking at the figure in packaging, is the phenomenal looking paint deco. From what I can tell, this figure has been painted in a silver paint and then has got some of this rust dry brushed effect. Specifically on the head, you can see that the dome does in fact appear to have been painted in a silver colouring, and then they've dry brushed some of this almost rusty type of red paint over the top in order to give it a rusty effect. This section here seems to be more of a burgundy type of brown plastic that has had some silver highlights painted. I love the red paint apps within this dome section here as well. This obviously illuminated when the Dalek did in fact speak, so that is really cool to see. The ears look really nice as well. They have been created in a transparent plastic, however once again have been given a nice rusty looking paint deco to really give them a very authentic look to the on-screen prop. The eye stalk is a silver eye stalk with a blue painted eye. Really great QC on this figure as well. There are no paint bleeds anywhere that I can tell, and for the most part this figure looks absolutely remarkable. As we move down to the slats, we can see here that these two have all been given that dry brush silver effect, and I definitely think that it makes the Dalek look so much more visually eye-appealing and so much more accurate to the actual on-screen prop. We can see here that gone are the days where the Dalek has a sucker. Here we have a claw, very reminiscent of the Assault Dalek from the Partings of the Way Series 1 finale. We can see here that this has been detailed really nicely as well in a silver paint app, as well as a brand new Dalek blaster with 4 rails sticking off to the side. We can see here that all the hemispheres are very accurate to the on-screen prop as well. We've got the 3 larger ones at the front and then 3 smaller ones, 3 larger ones, 2 sets of 3 smaller ones, and then once again that continues through all out the figure, which is a really nice attention to detail. This Dalek to me was fantastic, especially when he opened up these hemispheres and he had missiles in it. This really wasn't a Dalek to be messed with whatsoever, and I really hope to see a return of the Reconnaissance Daleks in the new series at one point. We can also see that the Dalek Base 2 is a completely brand new sculpt, and on the bottom, as per all of the new series Daleks besides the Paradigm versions, we've got a pair of wheels joint on a metal rod, as well as this one here which can rotate 360 and moves on its own independent hinge. Now turning to Articulation, which is also a brand new refreshed take on the Dalek doesn't in fact move here. It moves here in terms of the head articulation, so this whole section does accompany it as well. It can of course rotate the full 360 degrees. It can move its eye stalk up and down to a great degree. The plunger and the gun can also rotate 360, however it is fairly limited due to the stiffness and the rubberized plastic, so I honestly wouldn't necessarily recommend pulling those around too much just in case you crack the paint apps. And a brand new area of articulation which is yet to be seen on any new series Dalek is that we can in fact rotate the Dalek's waist the full 360 degrees. When I was younger, I always wanted to have this type of articulation, and finally character give this to us in this Reconnaissance Dalek. I'm so glad that they did in fact include this, as this was one of the more noticeable traits of the Dalek within the episode, as he was consistently rotating his armature around, which is fantastic to see here. And of course the Dalek can roll incredibly well on all of its caster wheels. So overall, just an absolutely fantastic representation of the Reconnaissance Scout Dalek that we saw in the episode. Now comparing the new Recon Dalek to a Dalek scientist from the most recent B&M set, this is obviously the mould for the new series 2005 Russell T Davies era. We can see here that for the most part they are roughly exactly the same height in terms of how tall they stand, but you can see here that the really obscure Dalek design for the Recon Scout can definitely be seen when put next to this one. I love how that it gets ever so slightly thinner as it comes to the skirt section and then begins to get ever so slightly larger. This really is a great looking Dalek design and is definitely a major departure from the new series Dalek design from 2005 to roughly I would say 2017, from when Peter Capaldi handed over the reins to Jodie Whittaker. We can see here that the Dalek has all of the similar iconic traits, such as the light bulbs for the ears, the eye stalk, the plunger slash assault weapon here, as well as the Dalek blaster, and we can also see the hemispheres as well as the slats on the torso area of the Dalek. Overall, I'm thoroughly impressed with this release, and he looks absolutely fantastic when posed next to other Daleks from the 5-inch line. And for a size comparison, of course, between the Doctor herself and one of her most arch nemesis, the Dalek, You can see here that I definitely think that they scale really nicely together. This was definitely the scale that we saw within the confrontation scene from when the Doctor first meets this Recon Dalek, and I just cannot believe that we finally have a Dalek to go alongside our 13th Doctor. Her meeting with the Dalek was definitely one of the most enjoyable episodes for me, and I really hope that she faces them again soon, perhaps in series 12, or if not later down her tenure. This is definitely a really nice looking Dalek and will definitely look fantastic scaled next to some of your other 5-inch figures. So that was my review on the brand new Doctor Who 5-inch scale Reconnaissance Dalek action figure. Once again, I want to say a huge thank you to both Character and Evolution PR for providing me with this early sample for review. This figure is once again due for release towards the end of February and is available to pre-order right now over at Forbidden Planet, and there will be links included within the description box below. I really cannot sing this figure's praises enough. This is definitely a massive return to form from Character. This Dalek figure is one of the brand new molds that we've had in a very long time, and you can really see that they've put a lot of attention and care into this release. This Dalek captures the on-screen prop incredibly well, and the added feature of a Dalek mutant is just something that I could never have imagined Character doing, but I'm so glad they went the extra mile to include this within this figure. The paint deco looks fantastic. The new articulation within the waist is definitely welcomed by me. I have forever wanted the waist joints on Daleks to move, and finally we get that here with the Reconnaissance Scout Dalek. I cannot honestly sing this figure's praises enough, so once again, if you are in the market for picking this figure up, he is available to pre-order right now over at Forbidden Planet. I hope that you enjoyed my review. If you did, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of both the review and the figure itself, and also be sure to stay tuned for more upcoming Doctor Who action figure reviews. Thanks for watching.